In the will of the people, every vote counts. Go and exercise your franchise. Go and get your PVC so that Nigeria will be able to change. The most successful system of governance ever devised by man. I think here's my favorite one by Winston Churchill. Democracy is the worst system of government except for all the others. This argument has been used to shut down every conversation about governance for decades. Abacha through a coup, Tinubu through an election, somehow the same results. Let's talk about democracy. So hello guys, my name is Iskeel, and you might not have noticed, but it's morning here, so I thought it would probably be the best time of the day to announce the dawn of a new series. So the series is going to be Democracy Delusion. Yeah, that's right, Democracy Delusion. So we are here to scrutinize the system that has been so revered. Ever since the dawn of organized society, there's usually something that brings a nation together, gives it an identity, and provides legitimacy and direction for the government of the people. And it's over time it used to be the ancestors, or it was religion for much of the last millennium. But we find ourselves in a secular world today, and with a lot of secular nations versus the American and French Revolution. So the common denominator for what has been used as the element of governance and the most revered part of society has been democracy. In fact, almost every country in the world claims to practice democracy in one form or the other, which obviously is not true because we have a lot of dictatorships around there, we have a lot of autocratic governments out there. But everyone seems to claim that they are following or practicing democracy. And this is because it has become revered as one of the highest philosophies and highest methods known to man. So with this, we're trying to put democracy under the microscope. We're not going to protect it anymore from questions. We're going to scrutinize it to the last bit. So it's a series, 7 different videos, 7 different layers, unwrapping everything that needs to be unwrapped. With that, 7 videos, 1 question. What is democracy actually doing? And is it doing it to us or for us? This is episode 1. So, what does democracy actually do? The form of democracy we practice in the modern secular world today is representative democracy. So, what do we use democracy for? Select leaders through an election, through votes, right? But what do you need to win an election? You need charisma, you need tribal appeal, you need communication skills, you need to take the media, right? You need to be able to get to the heart and win the hearts of people. What do you need for competent governance? You need competence, you need long-term thinking, you need institutional knowledge, you need to be able to make decisions whose benefits won't arrive until after the next election. These are not often so correlated. And what we usually find in reality is that sometimes, a lot of the time, these attributes and these features are of opposite orientation. The one who wants to win elections will tell you what you want to hear, but the one who wants to govern properly will tell you what you need to hear. We can see that, bro, if I want to win an election, I don't necessarily need to know how to run the country. All I need to know how to do is to win an election. I need to know how to win the heart of people. I need to know how to simplify complex problems into simple slogans that people can chant. I need to be able to bring out the mob, right? I need to be able to shout this and that, change, progress, we need hope, this. And well, I don't really need to prove that I can rule the country, right? Because at the end of the day, I can just make false promises and I still legally win the election. Do you see what I'm getting at? So, choosing a leader and governing well are two entirely different human activities. Democracy only selects for one of them and then hands that person the other. So, guys, I want us to look at this analogy. You don't vote for who is going to perform surgery on you. You don't vote for your doctor. You don't vote for your lawyer. You don't vote for the architect going to design your house. You don't vote for the person that is going to build the bridge that you're going to cross and walk on. You don't vote for which football player is going to come to your team, right? You let competence talk. In every high complex, high stakes domain, we make sure to choose by demonstrated competence and not by popular votes. So it's only in governance that we abandon this principle entirely. Plato stated this argument 400 years ago, where he said that the ship should be steered by its best navigator, not its most popular sailor. And democracy has never had an answer to this, even thousands of years after. All they've come up with is that governance involves values and not just technique. So the people should be able to decide. But then this doesn't answer the question of competence, does it? So we have the most complex organizational task in human history, ruling and governing a modern nation state in all its complexities, its economy, its security, its foreign affairs, and letting that be decided on a popularity contest. And we've called this progress. So, in every domain where stakes are high and skill is complex, we select by competence. In the one domain where stakes are highest, we select by popularity. We've never explained why. So, what is required to win? We have over a year of performance, political rallies, promises that are sound bites to people that want to hear them. Yes, I'll fix all the roads. Yes, I'll build more buildings. Yes, I will give it 24/7 electricity. These promises, performance is essentially trying to win the heart of people. Physical stamina for public appearances. You don't want to you don't want to be like, smiling at people that you don't necessarily agree with. Simplifying every complex problem into 3 or 4 words. Democracy has created a class of people whose careers are purely electoral. So these people, right, they are specialized in winning elections, in gathering political capital, in taking you to the top, taking you to the post that you want to be. These people have never run organizations at scale. These people have never built anything tangible outside of politics and political campaigns. Yet, what do we see? We see positions given to them as political debtors. You see party loyalists awarded posts, administrational positions to reward them, right? Democracy has created this system where competence is not the number one factor in choosing who belongs in an administration. The idea that someone is professionally a politician is the byproduct of democracy. And just look at it, I am professionally a politician. I'm professionally someone that tries to gain political power. Not necessarily being the one to serve the people, but giving and taking political power. And this doesn't sit right with the essence of democracy. Yet it is the reality. Again, what do we have? We have ethnic balancing administrations. We have rewarding of political debtors. We have the Minister of Education with no background in education. The Minister of Finance that is given the role just because of party loyalty. And all this, in all of this, just when the administration is beginning to understand the levels of power, is beginning to understand how governance works, is beginning to understand the institution of government itself, the term ends. I call this the 4-year cycle. When a new administration just enters, you have 1 year or less than, but approximately a year of trying to find who best fits the administration and trying to balance, ethnicity, party loyalty, and maybe some form of competence. But then you have 2 years of actual governance, 2 years to learn how a nation state is supposed to be governed. And then the final year is preparing for the next election, campaigning and campaigning again. So this essentially gives you 2 years of governance. All this has become the actual reality of democracy today. The political campaign is one of the most effective filtering systems ever designed for finding people who are good at campaigns. After that, you are on your own. And this brings us to another major problem. What is the most important democratic act? Well, it certainly is not voting. It is choosing who appears on the ballot. And you and I both know we have no say in that. So this decision is made through party structures, through political loyalty, through just a handful of political elites in their own party infrastructures making those decisions, And this is all decided by the Nigerian Godfather system. You have Tinubu in Lagos, you have the PDP power blocks, you have APC party structure. We don't get to decide who appears on the ballot. These people do that, and then they give us the illusion of choice. Oh, yes, you are participating in something, But at the end of the day, right, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 options that you didn't necessarily choose, do you exactly have a choice? It's not just that democracy is ineffective. It's also that, well, it's an illusion. So what do you have as a result of this? Well, you have poor people that look at a ballot and see 5,000 naira beside them. Oh, well, as well just take this 5,000. I need to just, fill my stomach now, right? Since at the end of the day, I'm not exactly sure which of all these people is going to change the country, right? They're just presenting faces and telling me to choose between what has proven to be just the same characters or different faces. You have democratic theory requiring citizens to vote for their long-term civic interest over immediate survival. But this theory was designed by people who don't face that choice. You look at the Nigerian who lives on the streets or who has a poor background, seeing 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, saying, just choose any of these faces on the ballot, right? It is a broken system. And even you and I, who are educated, we still don't choose who gets to be on the ballot. So it's an impossible choice, yet we are required to make them, and we call that democracy. So what do we have? As a result of this? We have elite factions competing using democratic rituals, right? And then you have the masses that are pulled into this illusion that they have a choice. And then you have media manipulation trying to make you choose one person over the other and thinking, oh, this person is really going to change the system. This person is really going to change the system. But these are just faces of just one body. And that body is just a group of people trying to win control over themselves. Tiny group of people, just thousands in the midst of hundreds of millions. They manipulate the masses using tribal identity, using emotions, using simple slogans. The election was real. The choice was managed. What you expressed was a preference. What you were never asked is who designed the options. In essence, what have we said in this video? We've demonstrated that the selection process produces the wrong people. And 2, we've demonstrated that the selection process itself is designed by people who are already in power, while giving you the illusion of choice. Democracy as practiced is not a system of mass power with elite problems. It is a system of elite power with democratic ritual layered on top. The question the next 6 videos will ask, is that fixable or is it by design? So, is this a problem of design or implementation? This series tries to answer that. Follow this series so we can unwrap different layers. 6 more videos. This is episode 1 of the Democracy Delusion. Thank you. See you next time.